It's a 47-yard kick for the Bills. Norwood assumes the position. Lingner waits to snap it. We wait. There's a snap. There's a kick. It is up. It is no good. No one missed. 4 seconds left. The Giants have won Super Bowl 25.
And with this kick, Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills would lose their first ever Super Bowl. While they would make it back to the biggest game in America in the following 3 years, not once were they able to win, a feat unmatched in NFL history. For those who don't know Jim Kelly, he was the Bills' starting quarterback from 1986 to 1996. While he and his team would become famous for their historic 4 Super Bowl losses in a row, Jim Kelly's story would not end after his retirement in '97. The very same year, Jim and his wife Jill would have their first and only son Hunter, born on February 14th, also Jim's birthday. Unfortunately, Hunter was born with globoid cell leukodystrophy, also known as Krabbe disease, a fatal disease which would slowly attack Hunter's nervous system. While Hunter didn't have a normal life, he was still very much beloved by his father, so much so that the great Jim Kelly would honor his Hall of Fame speech to his son.
Then there's my only son, Hunter, born on February 14th, Valentine's Day, my birthday, the son I've always wanted. I dreamt what every father dreams about: playing catch in the backyard, going fishing, camping, everything that fathers and sons do. But within 4 months, my son was diagnosed with a fatal disease called Krabbe leukodystrophy. They told us to take him home and to make him comfortable. And from that day, my wife and I decided to fight this disease. And so we made it our lifelong commitment to make sure kids all over the world don't suffer like my son does. Since the day I was selected, I prayed to God that my son would be here with me today. God has granted me that blessing. And it has been written throughout my career that toughness is my trademark. Well, the toughest person I've ever met in my life is my hero, my soldier, my son, Hunter. I love you, buddy. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Buffalo, and God bless.
Hunter would pass 3 years later, after over 8 years of fighting the disease he was supposed to die from as an infant. To this day, there is no cure for Krabbe disease. While this will forever haunt and sadden Kelly, he and his wife decided that they would use this moment as a fuel for good. They would found the Hunter's Hope Foundation, which aims to increase the probability of early detection, aid families of children with the disease, and to fund research and ultimately a cure for the disease. The Kellys alone have raised several millions of dollars to help fight Krabbe disease and other leukodystrophies, and continue to do so to this very day. This was not the only challenge Jim and his family would face after his career. Starting in 2013, he would be diagnosed and survive cancer on 3 separate occasions. The cancer attacked his jaw, which would need several surgeries and eventually a total reconstruction since it was becoming difficult for Jim to speak. He would receive the Jimmy V Award for perseverance as a result of his toughness both as a player and as a father. Instead of talking about his career or his achievements in life, he rather focused in on his life message, making a difference in others' lives every day.
I came up with a saying, make a difference today for someone who is fighting for their tomorrow. When I look across this arena and when I talk to people and I look at people, you don't need to be a Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers to make a difference out there. Every single person in this room can be a difference maker. You can be just a normal person who gets up every morning and goes to work. But you can be a difference maker, putting a smile on those faces. My kids, my friends, when they came in to see me, not once did they ever have a frown on their face. So I just urge anybody out there, if you have somebody out there who's suffering, it doesn't have to be cancer. It could be somebody not having a good day. It could be your mom, your dad. It could be your grandparents. What you say to them, the smile that you have on your face, that can be the difference in them making it the next day. Remember that. Always, always persevere. Like Jimmy B said, never, ever give up.
The life and example of Jim Kelly is something that should be idolized by all. He shows us that while life may not go perfectly as planned, we should always try to be our very best and to persist in moments of great difficulty. This man could have ended his career, taken his Hall of Fame jacket, and lived out his life as a celebrity. Rather, he has decided to dedicate his life to helping those in need, even while suffering from cancer for the past 6 years. His life choices have led him to become one of the most respected players in the history of the NFL. Having grown up in Buffalo myself, I can say wholeheartedly that the city does not perceive him as the man who lost the Super Bowls, rather as a tough man who has given everything to help others and the community.